Hey everybody, welcome to Sound Bombing. I created this show for people who want to experience a radical, life-changing journey through the sounds of my diverse guests. I hope that each sound you hear on this show will strengthen your faith, encourage your dreams, and challenge you to awaken the greatness within you.
Drop the bomb. Drop the bomb. We're gonna drop the bomb. Drop the bomb. We're gonna drop the bomb. Drop the bomb. We come to drop the bomb. Drop the bomb.
This is a journey into sound. A journey which along the way will bring to you new color, new dimension, new values, and a new experience.
Lamar Darnell Shields.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are listening to us, in your car, at your home, on your iPad, on whatever device that you're using. I'm just honored and grateful that you decided to join me, Dr. Lamar Darnell Shields, in the building, in the studio, in what we call the bomb shelter. Happy day to you. I hope you're having an amazing day, because I just spoke to about 75 students in the state of Indiana, some amazing students. I was the third speaker. We closed out the day, and this conference is about leveling up in every area. And these young people, we're talking in the summertime, these young folks were alive, they were excited. And so I was just honored that anybody wanted to hear anything I had to say. So shout out to the folks in South Bend. If we have Notre Dame fans out there, shout out to you all, because that's the school district that brought me on. If you're new to sound bombing, sit back and get ready to relax. If you're old to sound bombing, you are probably already in your comfortable position, because you know what we always do on the show. We start out with our three breaths of life. So I want to encourage you to get in a comfortable position. Put your hands on your lap, palms facing up, slowly close your eyes, and we're going to breathe through our nostrils. Then we're going to do our exhale, and then we're going to do our inhalation through our nostrils and an exhale through our mouths. So just find a comfortable position as we get started. And for those that are new to this, we start our meditation and our mindfulness just to set the foundation for the day, because I don't know what type of energy you bring into my virtual space, and you don't know what type of energy I'm bringing into your space. I'm hoping that I'm bringing some positive energy. So we do our mindfulness as meditation. This saves my life. I've been a great meditator. I've been a meditator for years and years and years, and this is the one thing that keeps me focused. So let's get ready. As my third graders used to say to me, they would say, sit up, sit back, roll your shoulders back, and relax. So we're going to do our deep inhalation. Inhale. We're going to hold it. Exhale. 2 more times. Inhale. Hold it. Exhale. Now we're going to go deeper. Inhalation. Exhale. And what do we call that, my old school bombers? We call that the breath of life. And you know, I always start out any show, all of our shows, with asking you a question, because that's what we do. People come to our show because they say, Lamar, you ask some deep questions. Not because I'm smart, it's because I have an amazing engineer and I have an amazing producer who just does her amazing research. So I don't do anything but just sit here. So let's get down to it. Sound bombers, have you ever wondered why some people seem to reach their full potential and keep on striving, while others who may be just a little talented, they just don't? You know what I'm talking about? People who tend to accomplish a great deal are people who tend not to take things personally, things happening, rather than dwelling on those things. They make it happen. They refocus and instead dwell on how they can take advantage of things as they are. According to Carol Dweck, I'm always talking about Carol Dweck, the great Stanford professor and the author of Mindset, The New Psychology of Success. She's explained the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset, saying is that in contrast to people with a fixed mindset, those with the growth mindset believe that even basic talents and abilities can be advanced over time. People with a fixed mindset tend to feel their basic qualities, talents, and abilities are simply fixed traits. In other words, what you see is what you get. But becoming a master at anything requires laser focus, awareness, and positive action daily. You hear me? Daily. I always say if you win the morning, you win the day. And mastering your mindset is no different. Every day we are fueling our mind with positive or negative thoughts. The great Walt Disney said, all the adversity I've had in my life and all my troubles and obstacles have strengthened me. You may not realize it when it happens, but a kick in the teeth may be the best thing in the world for you. Now, we ain't about to kick nobody in the teeth at all, because my next guest, I don't think he believes in kicking anybody in the teeth. Now, he may kick you or shake you for your greatness, but I don't think he's going to do any kicking. You all may come out of here kicking and screaming. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about Tommy Breedlove. Dope name, is it? Tommy Breedlove. He is going to give us some tips on how to live and learn every day, grow on a massive scale, change the way we do things, and keep an open mind to make the changes that we need. Who is Tommy? He is a Wall Street Journal and USA Today best-selling author of the book Legendary. You can see that in the background, an Atlanta-based business relation and mindset coach who is a regular featured speaker at all the global events. Tommy started his 20-year corporate career at one of the largest financial consulting firms in the world and eventually became a shareholder of the international practice leader and a member of the board of directors for one of the largest public accounting and financial firms in the Southeast. At the top of his career, Tommy experienced a transformational moment, inspiring him to walk away from the corporate world to change his life, follow his true calling. Now he serves clients and audiences all over the world. When Tommy isn't speaking and serving his clients, he enjoys traveling the world, hiking, spending time with his wife and his 2 dogs. But now we're going to add this to this list, spending time with his friend, Dr. Lamar Darnell Shields. Tommy, welcome to Sound Bombing. How are you?
That could be the greatest introduction I've ever had. Oh, Dr. Lamar, you rock, man. And thank you for the breathing and the meditation. It also changed my life, my friend. So I am eternally grateful for you, your audience, and what an honor, man.
Well, man, first of all, I love your voice. You have a great radio voice. Man, you got that whole quiet storm, late night, DJ, get you in the mood voice. I'm sure the ladies like, ooh, look at Tommy. And you got the great name, Tommy Breedlove, coming into your late night hour right now.
Future career. Future career.
Future career, but we know this is
loving with Breedlove. So it's not loving with Breedlove.
Loving with Breedlove. So, man, first of all, you are in a hot spot. You are in Atlanta, Georgia. How are you and your family holding up with this current pandemic?
We are good. Believe it or not, my team, me and my wife are coming off of actually being positive and being inflicted with COVID. I am actually day 20. I didn't have my watch on. I don't know where it went. I am day 22 in. We have been free and clear for about the last 10 or 12 days. I actually took a business trip to Pittsburgh, and someone in the room had been infected and we didn't know it, and got the rest of us. So we're very fortunate in a lot of facts. Is A, we got through it. B, we now have antibodies, and I've been working with my doctors, and soon we'll be donating blood for plasma and research and to help people. So there's a lot of positives that are going to come out of this, and I'm just very thankful that A, we didn't get anybody else sick, and B, we came through it in flying colors. So that's how we've been doing, man.
Well, man, I am honored that you're here, and I am so glad that your body has fought this off. And what's intriguing is that you're still inspired, that you're still doing the work, because this work is very, very important. So let's just get down to it, man. I'm looking right behind you. You got so many copies of this book, Legendary. What inspired you to write the book Legendary, and why that title?
So what I liked about the title Legendary is, in a world of a lot of self-promotion on social media and the media and everybody's Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn fabulous, if Tommy Breedlove started calling himself Legendary, people would laugh me out of the room. And to me, Legendary is a beautiful title that's given to you by your society, your peers, your friends, your family, and you could either be one of the most epic legends that ever lived, think the Gandhis and MLKs, and you can also think of horrific legends that have been throughout history. And to me, Legendary is about leading a life of purpose, meaning, significance, and legacy, and leaving this world better than you found it. And so for me, I I was fortunate enough that my current career in public speaking, one-on-one coaching, and running masterminds fell in my lap. And I went through this massive transformation at 36 years old. I thought money, titles, success. I grew up in very humble beginnings. I grew up with a lot of violence, a lot of abuse, especially inside the home. Ended up being incarcerated as a young man at 18 years old, spent my 19th birthday. So I thought money, success, title, power, being the first person in my family that ever got anywhere close to that, I thought that would fulfill me. And when that didn't fulfill me, I turned to all the darkness. I mean, you can imagine all the things that a man and woman can turn to these days. And I went through this. I ended up finding myself in a ditch at 36 years old in Atlanta, looking at the sky, thinking, how the heck did I get here? And I need to do something different. And so I went on this massive emotional, mental, physical, spiritual transformation and started just changing my life, mindset, emotional, self-confidence, self-respect, unconditional love for myself, but without giving up my drive and ambition because I had a financial background. And so when I did that, my friend, all of these people started reaching out, entrepreneurs, executives, lawyers, bankers. My tribe at that time started reaching out and said, hey, man, you seem happier. Your marriage is the best it's ever been. You're doing good. But what drug are you taking? I need some of that because I'm not happy. My wife is leaving me, all this stuff. So I started working with these people both in one-on-one and in coaching, and then it became a career, and I'm blessed that it became a career. And I saw this formula that is universal that helps people be the best version of themselves, live with purpose, live with financial confidence, develop that unconditional love for that, intimate relationships with others, leveling up your network, leveling up your life, mastering that mindset. You talked about mindset heavily at the beginning of the podcast. I think that's so heavy and so difficult because we have that demon in our head that says, you're not good enough. What if they find out you don't know what you're doing? You're not worthy. You're not lovable, blah, blah, blah. I call him Ike and I call it the Tommy go round. But the reason Legendary came about is I started seeing it no longer became anecdotal. It was data that people can truly, if they do the work, believe and lean in just a little bit, they can have massive transformations in their life and to become whatever their heart desires. And so that's where the book Legendary came from. I'm just super thankful it became a USA Today and Wall Street bestselling book. Super grateful for that, man.
I love the title. As soon as I saw it, I thought about I Am Legend. I think the Will Smith movie. And it's something about being a legend and being legendary, but you can't have that title without doing the work. And let's talk about the work that you've done on yourself. So I know you have a very checkered past. You grew up humble beginnings. You talked about being incarcerated. What was going on at your life during that time that made you, that created that space for you to just go down that path? And then what are some lessons that you learned then that you now sort of carry over in your new life? 'Cause, Tommy, people look at people like you and I. They look at the things that we have. They look at the stuff, but they don't see the sacrifice or they don't hear our stories. So let's go back to the old Tommy, the Tommy that was getting in trouble, the Tommy who people said you're going to be just like so-and-so, you're not going to make it. What are some lessons that you learned back then? And then how do you then transform yourself to coming from that person to this new person, this new version of yourself?
I think the biggest lesson I learned so I was taught at a very young age, I call myself a young puppy. When I was a young puppy, I was taught in all the wrong ways, in every form of abuse you can think of, that I wasn't good enough, I wasn't lovable, I was a piece of garbage. I'll use other words. It was said to me in other ways. And, over time, what happened to me is that mental, emotional, other forms of abuse, it starts sinking in and you become what you hate. You become the violence, you become the anger, you become the whatever. I did, not everyone. And so for me, if I would have had and I was living in the darkness, so I found darkness. I found other people that were in pain. I found other people who wanted to do harm and who were angry and who were bitter. And if I would have just had one or two real positive male figures in my life that loved me, showed me mentorship, showed me the right way, told me, hey, you are lovable, you are worthy, you can be something. But unfortunately, I didn't have much of that as a young man. So that was the biggest lesson. And here's where it came in the most unusual place. So I was 18 years old and I had half a ride to the University of Miami down in Florida, a full ride to the University of Georgia. Now, no one in my family had ever graduated college. So I was going to be the first one to go to college, except that spiral started happening and hanging around with the wrong people and doing the wrong things. And so committed a violent crime at 18 years old. And instead of I was looking at 7 years in prison. And here's where here's what came to me at that time. So here I am going into a South Atlanta jail, 18 years old. Luckily it was dropped to misdemeanor. So my whole life, I had a chance to rebuild my life afterwards, but I was sentenced to 2 years and blah, blah, blah. A 45-year-old African-American gentleman reached out to me, became a mentor, became a friend, became a father that I didn't have. And that's unusual because people don't cross racial lines. It very clicked in the system on racial lines. And for this 18-year-old skinny white kid to be loved unconditionally and mentored and say, I see something in you. You might not believe it yourself, but there's something I believe in you. And that positive influence in my life set me on a whole different trajectory that the learnings is if for us, you and I in this situation, when we get a chance to lean into a young person, a young man or woman who is on that brink ring, and society will sometimes push them aside, say, no, they're not worth anything. And that's what was told to me. All it takes is one positive influence in someone's life to reach out. And if you can touch one life in that way, the way that man touched my life, then who knows what that human could do in seeds. The seeds they'll plant and the orchard that'll grow from that love, that mentorship, that friendship, that grace. So that would be the learnings I took out of it, man.
I love that. You mentioned two words, abuse and mentorship. I want to go with the first part. In your writing, you talk about the worst abuse is that which gets into your soul. Explain that. And then I want to come back with the question around mentorship. How important are mentors when it comes to personal development? But let's go with the first piece.
So I'm also reading David Goggins' book, You Can't Hurt Me right now. And I don't know if you
David is a beast, man. Let me just tell you, David is a beast, man. So if you don't know who David Goggins is, you've been hiding under a rock for a very long time. This
that
dude
book, You Can't Hurt Me.
He's run marathons. Everything he's done everything. And I love how he challenges and pushes individuals. But go ahead.
But he grew up very similar to me.
Yes.
With added elements, things that I didn't experience. And so he talks a lot about that soul. It gets down in your soul. It's interesting. And he mentioned it, and I hadn't heard anybody say it like he did. For me, the physical and the sexual abuse, you kind of leave your body. It hurts, but it doesn't hurt, if that makes sense. Over time, it just kind of stops hurting and you can separate yourself from it. But what you're told and the feelings that are instilled in you, in that thing that gets down in your soul that says you are a piece of shit, you're not good enough, you're not lovable, you'll never be nothing, you're blah, 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 blah. And that stuff, we try to bury it in our money, our success, our arrogance, our anger, our angst, our rage, or a lot of other things, people pleasing, comedy, whatever we do. Mm-hmm. But David and I say the same. It's the first time I've heard it articulated. I was listening to it for 2 hours on my 2-hour walk today. Mm-hmm. And he articulated it well. When you deal with, you've got to go deep and you got to look inside, and those wounds, they'll anchor you down if you let them. And it's mostly unconscious. Even if you have, like for me, I thought business, money, power, the corner office, the fancy suit, the car, the pretty girl, I thought that was going to fill that hole, and it didn't. Because deep down inside, there was that little boy who still didn't believe he was enough, who thought he wasn't lovable and thought, I'm not worthy, even though I had all these things. And it wasn't until then that I knew that I wanted to use that and cut that anchor and use my foundation as a base that, hey, if we can overcome this, if we can get through this, we can do anything. And let's be honest, raw, and vulnerable, not to emotionally puke on people, but get to tell people they're not alone, to tell people that they can get through anything. And David Goggins' book does an amazing job of that. Like, you can do anything. You just got to do the work, and use that as a foundation to move ourselves forward, as opposed to an anchor to lower us down. But it takes all of us have that wound, that anchor, that demon in our head, and all that stuff that we've all got them. We've all got our hurts. We've all had things done to us. But what you do with them, how you overcome and lean in, like you said, mentorship, get mentors in your life to help you be better. Mm-hmm. And so for me, that soul level stuff, we all have it. It could be as simple as I was a big basketball guy growing up. It could be you go get dunked on and they get in your face and say, you mother, blah, blah, blah. You know how we do when we're kids. You know, we do things to each other as kids. But it could be something because, you know, it's a power thing over you. It could be something that simple. It could be racism or abuse or violence or anger. It could be a million different things, and we all got it. But it's what we do with it, and do we let it anchor it? And I had a mentor tell me this: do you want to live your life, or do you want to live that story? And that hit me in the face, and I was done living that story and wanted to rewrite the story and start living my life. That's that soul stuff I'm talking about.
So how important are stories? You know, on this show, we talk a lot about stories. We talk a lot about shifting those stories. What are some of the stories that you kept telling yourself over and over again? And what are some more recent stories that you're telling? And then what are some stories that you are trying to help your clients shift away from because it keeps taking them back down the road that you've actually sort of pulled them out of this ditch?
So for me, the story, if I had to sum it up, I always thought I was the only person who had these thoughts, who had this anger, who couldn't seem to get out of his own way. And I felt like I was a freak because of it. And not in a good way, in all the wrong ways. I thought I was alone. And I thought if I was just tougher, meaner, cooler, sexier, funnier, whatever fake ass mask I wanted to put on, that could overcome it. And none of it was really, because I was scared that I couldn't show the real me. Like the real me wasn't good enough. Like no one would accept Tommy. I had to be some character in a play. And that just simply wasn't true. And I thought I was alone. And what I realized is we've all got our stories. We've all got our wounds. We've all got things that have been done to us and things we regret. I've done a lot of things I regret too. And knowing you're not alone and that you can overcome them. And so the stories I tell myself today is, and it took me a long time to cultivate this. You talk about routines. I spend an hour and a half to 2 hours every day on my routine. Meditation, gratitudes, prayer, physical exercise, reading. I read like there's no tomorrow. And so I do these routines every day to develop that unconditional love, that self-belief, that I am good enough, that stand tall, head up, shoulders back, you know, that you belong to be here. And it's interesting, even in these crazy times with COVID and the news just going crazy and social media, people being mean to each other. And for me, it's been amazing that I've been able to step back and be proactive and not reactive, not lose face, know that we can get through this with self-belief, self-confidence, and see the goodness, learnings, and love everywhere. You know, our social media and news like to point out all the darkness. But if you look behind that, there's so much change and love and people coming together. And there's all this love and goodness also happening. It's just what side do you choose? And do you choose to be reactive or proactive? And so that's how I'm living my life now and help others to do that. And so it's been really cool watching over. I've done 10 years of this work, like really deep. And I still have mentors, still have a psychologist. I'm still in a mastermind and I still have a coach. I'm in that business, but I have all those people in my corner to help keep me honest with myself and to show me my blind spot.
I'm so glad that you shared that, because when you look at these individuals who are out here, you talked about Goggins, we can talk about Tom Bilyeu, we could talk about Tony Robbins, we can talk about a variety of people. What people don't know is they do still have coaches. I always said, who makes the clown laugh? Who preaches to the preacher? Who ministers to the minister? Who preaches to the rabbis? That we have to have those other people around us to also elevate us, because you got to admit, the people that you're working with, they can drain you. I mean, think about that. You're trying to pour into them, and you're taking on all of their baggage, all of the stuff that they're bringing to you, and you got to sort of figure out how to ebb and flow through that. And I know it's not simple as a teacher, as a former teacher, being in a classroom of 40 students, 50 students sometimes. I'm taking on a lot of that. So I had to take care of myself, and I want to thank you for sharing some of those routines. Here's another question about your routine. How does it feel some days when you don't do one of the routines? Like when you just forget to do one? Can you explain to our listeners what that feels like to you? Because I know with me, if I don't do one of the routines because I'm rushing or doing something else, my entire day is thrown off.
I notice my patience is lacking. I notice stress comes into my life. I'm not centered and grounded.
Yeah.
You talk and when you work when you pour into people, you do take on a lot. I'm in the pain and purpose business, and I'm hearing a lot of different things in business and life and relationships and wounds and demons and things that people are trying to overcome and get through, and big decisions they want to make. If you don't do the work and build your mental fortress, your emotional fortress, your physical fortress, if it's important to you, your spiritual fortress, if you don't build those solid grounds and fortresses and get centered and get peaceful and get in your body and be where your feet are, the day is going to be dictated to you. You're no longer the master of your destiny. Everything else is going to be the master of your destiny. So to me, it takes one day without certain parts of my routine, especially meditation, gratitude, and my daily readings. I am way off. My team notices it. My wife notices it. I notice it. And it's so imperative. It's just like going to the gym. If you stop working out, your muscles are going to atrophy. They're just going to atrophy over time. And it might be a little bit of a time, but over time, they're going to atrophy. Same thing goes with the mental and the deep game, the emotional game, the mental game, the mindset game. You've got to do the work every single day. For me, it's everything.
Yeah. So speaking of doing the work, explain the holy or the hollowness of success achieved when you're not living your true purpose. Explain that concept.
All right. Say that one more time.
So the hollowness of success achieved when you're not living your true purpose. What does that feel like when you're not living your true purpose in life? What does that feel like? What did that feel like to you? And when you're engaging your clients who are not living their true purpose in life, what are some things that you're hearing from them? And how are you engaging them to make sure they elevate their true purpose or their true calling?
Depending on where they are in their life, whether they've reached a level of financial and business success or not. The feeling of not being in your purpose, and purpose is where meaning and significance and service and something greater than us. It's no longer about the shiny object. And so whether you're successful in life or you're just getting started in life or anywhere in between, lack of purpose looks like it's when you look up at the sky and think, why am I here? What does this all mean? Is there something really bigger than me, or am I just here doing this? And it happens it happens for a lot of people. They finally checked off the boxes, got the cool car, got the BMW in the garage, and got a level of financial success, got some money in my pocket, but yet I'm still unhappy. I'm still unfulfilled. I don't know why I can't be the person I wanted to be with my kids, and I just feel like I'm lacking significance in life. That's what it looks like, and that's when you lack purpose. And so for me, all phases of your life, from your family to your significant other to your business to how you operate to how you give. And to me, every single human being on earth has a purpose. And here's the other good news is your purpose can change depending on the season of your life. And it's up to us, whether you do it on your own, it's kind of hard, or you do it with a great coach or a great mentor or a inner circle or a master, whatever it is everybody's got a purpose. And it's where we find meaning. It's where we give our God-given talents for the benefit of others. And it's what gives us fulfillment in life. And honestly, that's what helps us build legacy and to become a legendary human. It's something bigger than we are.
So speaking of being legendary and then being human, I'm loving the concept of what you're saying. How does helping others heal us, or how has helping others healed you from your past hurts, the struggles that you had as a young man? Growing up, being incarcerated, living from house to house. How does helping other people help you heal?
The first thing it does, this might be an unexpected answer. The first thing it does is I get to talk, whether I'm on a stage in front of 1,000 people or just me and a guy throwing down in front of a fire. I get to talk in the mirror all day long. And so I'm asking myself, you're talking this, but are you walking this? And I would say 9 out of 10 times I am. But there's every now and then that a man or a woman will bring something up to me. I'm like, I'm not doing that well either. I can give the great advice. It's cobbler kids have no shoes, right? And so that's one way it helps me. I think always helping others. I think there's always a quid pro quo in every relationship. I think every single person on earth has something to teach us, whether it's in their pain or the decision they're trying to make, whether it's in business or life or career, whatever it might be, we learn from others. But to me, we're all we've got to get away from me, and make it also about our fellow, our community, that person standing next to us, our beautiful planet. And so for me, when you give and you give something that you truly enjoy, whether it's a piece of advice, a piece of cake. You know, we all have these God-given talents. Whether you believe it or not, you have God-given talents. And when you use those in a place of service, whether it's one-on-one or in a big group or in a community or worldwide, there's people doing it worldwide, but even one-on-one, when you give a gift of something that you're really good at and you're in a place of service and love and you truly want that person to benefit in all phases of their life from that gift you're giving them, there is simply no better feeling in life. And for those of us like you and me who choose to do this for a career, it does come with we take on a lot of things from a lot of people, and we carry that because we want to help, but we also learn so much from it. But we also can lay our heads down at night, and you can do this on a micro level just with your neighbor, your son, your daughter, your wife, whatever it might be. But you get to lay your head down at night, and there's no bitter feeling of saying, hey, I left this world a little bit better than I found it today. And that is a powerful, powerful thing.
So you talked about looking in the mirror, and you said you ask yourself questions. What are some questions that you typically ask yourself on a day-to-day basis? And what are some questions that our listeners should be asking of themselves as they're striving for excellence, as they're striving to live their best life, as they're striving to build a career, get out of debt, or pursue financial freedom?
Absolutely. And so something was told to me one time in the most unusual place. And so I'll give you the two questions that I would ask myself if I'm looking to make some sort of change. Is it money? Is it career? Is it business? Is it pursuing that relationship or chasing that dream? Or is it to let something go in your life that's been weighing you down? And we all know what those things, but the first thing you got to do is go look in the mirror, because unfortunately there is no magic pill out there that's going to make us happy overnight. It's hard work, and there's personal accountability to it. We must participate in our own rescue. We can't rely on someone else to come save us. We have to participate in saving ourselves. We have to make the changes and choices and know that we always have a choice until our last choice. And so I always look in the mirror every day and ask myself, I've got a personal mission statement that I take very seriously. And I ask myself, am I living up to my core values and my integrity? Am I serving, or am I living in a place of ego, fear, insecurity? Is it about me? Is it about money? Is it about fame? Or is it really about the mission, and am I living my core values? So that's what I ask myself. That's a little bit deeper question. But for someone just getting started, these are two powerful questions that were taught to me. Is I would look in the mirror and ask myself this: what's the one thing that if I let go of it in my life that would increase my happiness or success 10x? And most people would know what letting that one thing go. Is it a habit that you have, a very unhealthy habit? Is it a human? Is it a belief system? And what if I let that thing go, that my happiness and success would increase 10x? And if you really want to know thyself, ask yourself why I'm not doing that. And that's your deepest, darkest wound, secret, and fear. And a great mentor, a great coach, a great person, a great friend can help you get through that. The second question I would ask is what is the one thing that if I added in my life would increase my happiness or success 10x? And I learned that from a book called The One Thing.
Oh man, great book. Great book. It's funny. I picked it up. My barber had it in the shop. I remember the book is a small hardcover. It's black and white. The One Thing, The Power of One Thing. Oh man, I love that book.
James Keller. And I had no idea because he never says it anywhere in the book. I had to look him up.
The One Thing.
He founded Keller Williams, the largest real estate
company. Yes, indeed.
He never says it in the book.
Never says it. Never says it. So you like me, you go digging deeper and deeper and deeper about these individuals. This hip hop artist I love, KRS-One, he always said, you want to know something about the author before you read the book, because again, that could disqualify them from what they're actually talking about, or it could qualify them anymore. But the same thing, I had to go out and discover who this guy was, but I'm always recommending that book.
That's and he takes that as a compliment, by the way, because so many people interview him and they're like, well, what did you do before you wrote this book? And he goes, yeah, I started this company called Keller Williams. And that's the biggest real estate company I think there is. Anyway, so I think that's something to his humility, what he's learned. So, but here's the key again, and the message is participate in your own rescue. Look in the mirror and become the master of your destiny. And follow in the footsteps of the people that you look up. They never came successes overnight. They've looked within. They've done the hard work. They do their homework. And, what looks like an overnight success was probably 20, 30, 40 years of really hard work, really dedication to their craft, and just being a little bit better than they were yesterday.
So what is holding people back from being legendary or living a legendary life? What are some of the obstacles that you're noticing that are holding people back from being legendary? What are the obstacles that are in the way from people not living their best? What are some of those things that we can tell people to look out for? Because I'm sure as you're talking to your clients and the people that serve as the people that you're coaching, I'm sure a lot of the similar things come up in life. Now, we know some things we can't avoid that they're there, but I'm sure you give some tools for us to sort of either go around, go over, or go through them. I'm hoping you're taking them through. But what are some of the obstacles that are getting in the way? You wrote this book called Legendary. What's getting in the way of legendary living for the average person?
Yeah, I think it's several things. It doesn't matter if a person's worth $1 or 500 million, and I've got on both sides. I literally have them on both sides of that. And so I think shiny object syndrome, thinking there's always a little bit more, something better than what we already have, which is a lack of gratitude in our lives. Always win and more. And here's the truth, win and more actually never happen. And so whether it's your partner say, oh, they're great, but they could be better because of this, or I've earned this success, or I need to make this success. I'll be happy when I have more. And that's shiny object syndrome. That's I'm not comfortable in my own skin. I'm not good enough right here, right now, because here's the truth. All of that can be taken away from you. Your title, your money, your loved one, your self-respect, your reputation, it can be taken away from you like that. One bad decision, or maybe something out of your control. So the key is to stand on a solid foundation of self-confidence, self-belief, unconditional love and respect for yourself, so that you can truly go love and respect and serve others. It is the universal thing. People struggle from being able to receive love and unconditional love for themselves. That's what we struggle with. We struggle with some level of self-confidence. We struggle with this, what if they figure out I don't know what I'm doing? We all struggle with it. Or what if they truly understood my deepest, darkest secrets and my thoughts? And the key is you're not alone. So I think it's shiny object syndrome. I think it's putting credence into the wrong people, what they think of me, or what will they think, whoever the hell they are anyway. You're probably putting your power into someone else's when you truly have the power. And the truth is people aren't really thinking about you anyway because they got their own problems. And I think all of that is fear. I think fear is driving. And I think we can live on the love and abundance side, or we can live on the fixed side, the fear side, the anger, the judgment, the cynicism. And so we all struggle with that. We all struggle with looking up to people. We all struggle with envy, especially in the social media world. Somebody's always going to be richer and more famous, and everybody's Instagram fabulous. But you don't see the pain in their lives. We've all got pain. We've all got suffering. And here's the truth. And I'm just going to throw it out there. We're all going to die. We all poop, and we all bleed. And so life is short. And do you want to live it with regrets? And do you want to live it for them, or do you want to live it for you? Do you want to live with passion, purpose, significance, and legacy? Do you want to make a difference can be just in your own life. You have to do the work within. And so many people, getting back to the question, so many people think that if I get here and when I get there and when I have this, I'll concentrate on my family, my heart, my mind. And the truth is, we've got to do the hard work now. We've got to build our mental fortress, our emotional fortress, our physical fortress, our unconditional love, our self-respect, and our mindsets. And if we concentrate on that, regardless of our external situations, there's so many people who've done it in prison or in the worst situations. Think about Nelson Mandela. Man, the guy he was in prison for years and years and years.
27 years. Man, I can't be in my room when I was on punishment for 27 minutes. This brother was in prison for 27. If you lock me in my room, well, right now it's a little different. When we were kids, your mother locked you in for 27 minutes. It's like, it's done. But now you got everything and you're like, yeah, lock me in my room, Ma. But you're right, 27 years this guy was incarcerated.
Changed the country, changed the world, because he never gave up on himself. He never left the inner game. He didn't let the powers that be let him, he was just going to be bigger than the oppression, the abuse. He constantly was working on that inner game, his mindset, his heart, and he knew that his purpose was greater than himself, and he was willing to die for it. And that is one of the most precious examples, and think about how he changed the world, but he never gave up on building that heart muscle, building that mind muscle, building that soul muscle, and making it bigger than him, but always concentrating on him so that he could do the bigger story. And all people that I have worked with, that I've been around, it does in all situations, in all facets of life. I've got them on all, we work with people in all kinds of diverse backgrounds and things. But all of us, if we just cut the nonsense and know that we all on some level are scared, we're scared. We are. That we're not alone. I think that's so critical, as we think we're alone in our thoughts, our insecurities, our fears are not good enough. We're not. We're all got it. And it's just, how do you lean in? Do you do the hard work? Do you do the readings? Do you do the meditate? Do you reach out to a mentor? Do you get a coach? Do you start getting education in that place that you need and want to go? And do you start following in the footsteps of the people you look up with? And so the universal thing, and here's the last thing that's universal, is we all struggle in our relationships with our loved ones for a lot of different reasons. Our families, our significant others, our brothers and sisters. There's all sorts of dynamics there. And so there's a whole bunch of tools. I mean, that's a whole 10 other podcast. But to know you're not alone in that as well, the key is you're not alone. We're all scared. And what are we going to do about it to lean in, to level up wherever you are in life?
You talked about we're not alone, we're not scared. You also referenced Nelson Mandela. You also talk about survival. You also mentioned in your writing, you talk about masks. And so what do you mean by when you are forced to wear masks to survive, you must learn to live without them? What does that actually mean? Can you unpack that for us? Because again,
Absolutely.
we know Nelson Mandela had to survive where he was. Many of us, we say surviving versus thriving. There's always a challenge going back and forth. So what do you mean by you're forced to wear masks to survive? You must learn to live without them.
So for me, now there's certain situations where you can be put in life that survival is the only goal. Mm-hmm. Yes. Syria would be that right now, right? We've got to survive this. I'm talking in the modern world where we feel like because we're not good enough or we don't measure up in some way, we've got to become an actor in a play. Mm. And for me, it was the tough guy, the never ask for help guy, that I get all the girls guy, sometimes the funny guy. And none of those guys were really, it's where we play a role to get other people to hopefully love, respect, and like us. That's what I'm talking about. And so even Goggins, what he did in his book and what I'm doing in my book is we give the gift of going second, saying, look, this happened to us and here's where we screwed up. Here's the mistakes that we made. And we give the gift of going second, where we're not emotionally vomiting on you. We're just saying, hey, we screwed up. And hey, we've also been through some stuff. And hey, we got through it. But during the process, I was the tough guy, important guy, cool guy, couldn't ask for help. Those were all just characters in a play because I thought the real Tommy Breedlove, like Eminem said, would the real Tommy Breedlove stand up? Mm-hmm. I thought if I stood up, nobody would like him because I was still carrying those wounds from the past. I was told I wasn't lovable or good. I wasn't valuable. You weren't anything. That's what was told to me. And so, and I'm not talking about, again, when we can get authentic and we can take off that mask and saying, damn it, here's the real me. What we'll find out is people actually like the real you a whole lot more than the fake you. Everyone loves the hero's journey. Everyone loves the Phoenix from the ashes story. Everybody loves seeing people overcome. Because we all relate to that, because we all carry that. But yet in this world, especially today where everything is so out there on social media, and we're constantly comparing ourselves to others, especially in the social media world, we don't feel like we can be us. We've got to be fabulous 100% of the time. And the reality is we're just human doing the best we can. And so that's what I'm talking about with Mask. It's being a character in a play because we're scared to be who we are, because in some level we don't believe who we are is good enough.
So what are some things I could do right now to change my life? What are some, for those folks that are watching us and they're taking copious notes, because the people that come to my show, they take copious notes because I get great emails. Walk us through some things that we should be doing right now.
This is going to sound cliche, but we've talked about it. I would, whether or not you read or have it read to you, read everything you can get your hands on. And now with Audible books, YouTube, there's so many cheap ways to get access to, there's so much wisdom in self-development, business, biographies of great human beings. We talked about a lot of great humans. There's so much knowledge and wisdom, but not only read or listen to everything you can get your hands on in podcast, apply it to your life. And don't get overwhelmed. Just apply one thing. Like if you read a book and you have this aha moment, whether it's a great biography or it's a business book or it's a money mindset book or it's a book like Legendary, pick that one thing and apply it to your life and do it consistently. And that daily work will get you better than yesterday. Mm-hmm. Second thing I would do to my life right now is I would have a gratitude practice. And gratitude does a bunch of things. It gets you thankful for what you do have. It puts you on the love spectrum and not the fear spectrum. And it gets you in the present moment. So there's so many benefits. When you feel fear or judgment or anger or rage or I'm not good enough, if you can just breathe in and think about 3 or 4 things that you're grateful for, the beating of the heart, the sunshine outside, a great conversation with somebody I just met. It gets you in the present moment, it gets you grateful, it gets you loving, and it gets you thankful for what you do have. Third thing is I would meditate every single day of my life for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 5 minutes, 1 minute. Meditation gets you present, it gets you in the here and now, and it gets you proactive and not reactive. So it's not when life suffering happens, you can be proactive to it. You can breathe, you can think, and you can move forward in the direction you want to move forward and not be reactive and let people dictate your life. Final thing with, and this is the tough one. This is the real tough one. And this one's a practice and might help to do it with somebody else that's safe. Forgiveness of yourself and forgiveness of others. And it's a hard one, especially if you've been through some stuff. Forgiveness of yourself, i.e. self-love, unconditional self-love, self-confidence, letting it go and moving forward, and forgiveness of others. Those are the 4 things.
And we want to add a 5th thing. Pick up Tommy Breedlove's book, Legendary. Tell us about the book, Legendary. Once I finish reading this book, how should I feel? What should I do? What do you want the readers to walk away with after they've read this great book?
I think they'll walk away with simple tools that they can apply to their life.
We like simple.
I think they'll walk away with hope. And I think it'll be a guide and playbook with them for the rest of their lives. It's got real fun, entertaining stories in it. It's got some serious stuff in it. But what it's got is simple tools to help you reconquer your time, find purpose in life, develop a better network, cultivate a mastering of your mindset and unconditional love for yourself, having more fun in life, intimate relationships. And I'm not just talking about sex. I'm talking about real relationships with another man, woman, your significant other, friends, family, real relationships, deep listening relationships, but also doing that without giving up your drive, your financial confidence. It's also, because I come from the financial world, it's got some real simple executable mindset tricks, financial confidence tricks, and actual blocking and tackling to get a little bit better financially than you were yesterday. So it's an all-encompassing purpose, time, relationships, mindset. And it's literally the playbook that saved my life. It saved my life, and I've seen it save countless of others. And it's simple, it's fun, it's a quick read, and it's executable. So that's what they'll get out of it.
So Tommy, how can our listeners pick up a copy of your book, and how can they get in contact with you?
Okay, so it's everywhere. Favorite bookstore. I don't want to give any one bookstore because I got to make them all happy. Yeah. But it's on Audible. It's on every format of electronic book, whether you're an iReader, a Kindle reader, a Nook reader, whatever it is. And it's also available in paper and hardback. So if you like my voice, I'm the one reading it to you. So if you want to get it in Audible, I'm the one that's going to read it to you. So you can get it at any of your favorite stores. If you want to reach out to me, I'm all over social media right now. I'm putting out love and light and tools to help put some light out there. It's at Tommy Breedlove on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. I'm not a Twitter guy, so those are the 3 places I play. You can also reach me at tommybreedlove.com, and I'll say this too, and hopefully you can understand because I'm in the South United States, / or /gifts, GIFTS. And because of the world we live in right now with some uncertainty, we're giving away the Mastering Your Mindset chapters and the Financial Confidence chapters. And so it just helps people. Here's some free tools here's 20-something pages with some goodness and some simple tactics so you can start leveling up your life today. And that's TommyBreedlove.com/GIFTS gifts.
I love it. And we're going to leave all of that in our notes section. Tommy, what's exciting? What's exciting right now? What are some great things that you are working on right now that you just want to share with our audience members before we get out of here?
I love it. We've got a whole suite of digital products coming out for helping people find their purpose, for helping people conquer their time, helping people build that financial confidence and freedom, mastering your mindset. So everything in the book, we're going to taking a deeper dive. We're coming out of a suite of products that I'm super excited about. You can get them on TommyBreedlove.com. They will be out soon. So everything in the book, we're taking a deeper dive for a really good price digitally. Something else I'm really excited about is I'm going to be recording some meditations. Apparently, I've done a lot of meditating, and I teach people how to meditate. People are like, you need to record this. You need to record this. And so we've got a whole suite of meditations for just the novice meditator, or for the business person, or the ambitious person. You know, meditation is not about going and living in a teepee and wearing a loincloth and saying some religious chants. Yeah. It's literally about a whole lot more than that. So we've got some meditations coming out, and I'm really, really excited. We've been running, I've started running my own events. And so we've been running these retreats on building and living legendary lives. Got another one coming up in September. And then we're going to run 4 to 6 of them in 2021, both virtually and, God willing, in person, you know, if this thing passes us. So I've got a lot of good, cool stuff coming up. But I would just encourage everybody, instead of following all the negativity on social, follow Dr. Lamar, follow the Tommy Breedloves, follow the David Goggins, follow the people that are putting love, light, inspiration, and goodness into the world. And so it'll make you feel a whole lot better when you log into your social.
And I endorse that final statement. Man, it's been a pleasure talking to you. But before you get out of here, we have to participate in my favorite part of the show. It is called the Super Bomb Questions. So I'm going to throw out a couple of questions to you, and my listeners want you to respond as quickly as possible. So I'm going to give you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Are you ready?
Ready.
Here we go. What's your favorite word?
Patience.
What's your favorite quote?
Participate in your own rescue. I love it. I love it more than anything else.
What's your spirit animal?
No idea. Let's say eagle.
Good one. What's your superpower?
Oh, deep listening. I'm always present, deep listening.
What brings you to tears of joy?
Watching people succeed.
What brings you to tears of sorrow?
And just thinking about it, bullying. I despise it. Bullying.
What do you wish you had more time to do?
Travel the world. I love experiencing, traveling the world, seeing places.
Yeah. What is the best or the most worthwhile investment you've ever made?
Life coach. Actually, let me change that. There was a program in Tennessee called Onsite. It was a 7-day workshop about developing unconditional love for yourself. It's on-site workshops in Tennessee. Best 7-day program I've ever been through.
Love it. What deceased person would you most like to meet or get advice from?
Abraham Lincoln.
Walk us through your morning routine. You gave us a little bit earlier, but walk us through your morning routine again.
Get up every morning, walk my dogs, and then I sit down with my cup of coffee. That's a religious speaking. I read. We have 5 daily readings. They're less than a page each. I read them to my wife. I write in my gratitude journal for 10 minutes. I pray, then I meditate for 20 minutes, and then I usually go for a big walk that I'm listening to some great inspirational book of some kind. So that's that, and I also do some exercising. So that's my 2-hour routine.
So if you were in a Mr. America talent competition, Tommy, what would your talent be?
Hey, oh my God, what a great question. I think it would be speaking. I would just speaking truth, speaking love and truth.
Love it. Man, Tommy Breedlove, it has been an honor hanging out with Mr. Legendary. I told you all he was going to be amazing. You know, he did not let us down. Now you got to go out, pick up his book, Google him. He's all over the place. Best-selling author. Tommy, thank you for joining me in the Bomb Shelter today.
Dr. Lamar, here's to love and light. Got nothing but gratitude for you, my friend.
And I also like to thank my engineer, my Haitian brother, Alexander Blanc, my producer, Nicole Klempaka, Supremacy for our theme music, and all of you for listening. Make sure you subscribe, leave a comment if you want to pick up any of our merchandise, or if you want to know anything about me, you know where to go, drdrlds.com. Check us out. subscribe to the show, Stop Being Stingy, and share me with all of your friends. And as always, believe that something wonderful is about to happen. And that some people miss the message because they're too busy looking for the mess, but not you. Thanks for tuning in, and do something for someone other than yourself today. You've been listening to Sound Bombing. Peace.